Again, these are just some things that make a good application. A rigorous curriculum, again, take advantage of those AP classes, the IB program. Make sure, for me, the essays are the most important after looking at the curriculum and the test scores, just because the essays let us know a little bit more about you. So, you know, since we get over 15,500 applications, we won't have met all those students. The essays are really your way to let us know more about you that we haven't already found out through your curriculum. So a lot of students will say, do I try and make it too cutesy? Do I try and use big words? Just write how you would normally speak to someone. You don't need to try and write about a global world issue if you don't really know much about it. Just write about something that really means a lot to you. Really have your parents read over your essays, have your English teacher, your guidance counselor, make sure they really proofread the essays. For Emory, we do have a supplemental essay, which means in addition to the common application, we have another essay which says, why is Emory a good match for you? And a lot of colleges and institutions will have supplemental essays, so check that out. I have read essays that say, you know, I really want to go to Emory because it's in a great location, it's in Atlanta, I can take advantage of the city, it has great resource opportunities to me, and then the last sentence will say, I really want to go to the University of Georgia because. So what they did was what I like to call plug and chug. So they will put one name into the, you know, I really want to go to Emory because, I really want to go to Davidson because, I really want to go to Harvard, Vanderbilt. And then they'll just keep taking out that name and sticking in that other institution and then sending it off. Well, if you can do that, we can do that as well. So I take out Emory and I stick in Wash U. And if the essay sounds the same and doesn't really speak to me, then, you know, did the student really take the time to do research on Emory and really see what we offer to make it different from all the other institutions? So again, the essays are really what the counselors dig into and really see to see more about the student. So, students, early decision versus early action. Who can tell me what the difference is between early decision and early action without reading all that?
Early decision is finding.
Yep. So that is right. Early decision, different schools have different things. So again, make sure you know about what they offer. So Emory does offer early decision. We actually offer 2 early decision deadline dates. Early decision means if you apply to Emory or that institution and are accepted, you have to withdraw all your other applications and go to that institution. Early action is where you can apply early, find out early if you got in or not, but it's not binding. Sometimes there are schools that have only single early action where you can only apply to one place early action. The positives about early decision. You do apply with a smaller applicant pool because not everyone can do early decision. So does that increase your chances of getting in? At Emory, it doesn't really. We still look for the same type of students, early versus regular. We say if you're a good applicant, you could get in early and you could get in regular. So it does give us a little wiggle room because we know that the students who apply early decision, if they're accepted, will come, but we're still looking for the same type of rigor. So we have about a 33% acceptance rate for early decision, and then for regular decision overall, we have about a 27% acceptance rate. So yes, percentage-wise, there is, and it's not easier, but you have a better chance of getting in early if you are a strong applicant. However, it does kind of limit the number of scholarships that you could potentially get just because sometimes they give them out later. So again, it's something that you'll have to, the students and the parents will have to talk about and just make sure, you know, if you're ready to go early decision, make sure you've checked out all the financial aid and the scholarship opportunities available. So if you're looking for any type of need-based financial aid, we definitely recommend just going regular decision so you're not bound by that decision. Does that make sense? Any questions about early versus regular versus early action? Because I know sometimes that's confusing. Yeah? Okay. This is early action. So again, you can apply early, you can find out early, which is great, and then you're not bound to go. So if you have different schools that you can apply early action to, I would recommend it just so you know what you have in your pocket going through the process. But again, early decision, you can only apply to one school early decision in one round. So at Emory, if you apply early decision and are denied, you can't apply regular decision because that decision has already been made. So it's final. Sometimes we do wait list or defer, but very rarely will we do that in early, just because we want to make sure that you can move on and that we can move on when we're trying to make our class. So these are just some books that are recommended if you have some extra time, either you or your student can read these books, and it kind of gives you an insight to the college process, the college application process. You can go to the next slide. The next book, The Gatekeepers, we read this as an office, and it just kind of takes you through the application process of a Wesleyan student, which gives some insight if you have extra time to read. And then the other book is Making the Most of College. Again, just another helpful resource. So I would recommend, if you have some extra time, go to your local Barnes & Noble or another bookstore, look through these books, because they really can help give you insight to the different things that you do during the college application process. Okay, so these are just some general tips. The first thing that we really like to see, so I was commenting to my mom when I was waiting, I said, why are there so many parents in here and where are all the kids? Because this is really helpful for the students. You parents, thank you so much for coming and taking notes for your children, but I really want you to encourage your students to do the research themselves. Kind of take the pressure off of you. You've raised them for 18, 17 years, and so now it's their turn to actually do some work for their future. So encourage them to do the research, to call up the schools. A lot of times we get parents calling, we call them helicopter parents because they hover too much. They really need to let their students do the work, and we understand that if they're in school and you're calling to check in on something, that's fine, but sometimes it's just too much. So really encourage your student to do the work, to fill out the application. We even get parents, I mean, you can tell when a parent fills out an application. The handwriting is a lot better, so again, just make your child do the work, and make sure, again, I can't stress enough, do the research. Don't just apply willy-nilly to 500 or 30 different colleges just because it's a waste of time and a waste of money. It's expensive to apply to colleges. I mean, each application fee is at least $50, and students do apply to over 30 schools. So by doing your research, figuring out, hey, I'm interested in pre-med. Does this college have good science classes? I'm interested in pre-business. Does this college have the classes that I'm interested in? So again, it's really important that you do your research to see what each institution has. And again, some other tips, but we've already hit on that. The most important, again, is to make sure your student does most of the work. I think are there some other under that? Yeah, okay, there it goes. So again, some other tips. A lot of students come to Emory, apply to Emory saying, I want to be pre-med. Well, if you do that, make sure you have a plan B. I applied to Emory. Originally, I wanted to be pre-med as well. Halfway through my junior year, though, I changed to sociology, and I absolutely loved it. So again, think about other things. So yes, you might be pre-med now, but look into other jobs or other opportunities that might be a plan B if things don't go well. And again, look at the institution to make sure they do have a counseling center, a career center that can help you with that and figure out what you might be interested in if, say, you take freshman chemistry and you totally bomb and then you say, I'm not doing pre-med anymore. What are you going to do? So make sure you are at an institution that can give you all the different options. How many of you have actually visited UGA? Well, how many of you have done a visit to Emory? Okay. How many of you have visited Georgia Tech? Okay, good. So the thing about that is when you are juniors, I know some of you have ninth graders, so it might be kind of early for them to start visiting, but summer of your junior year, that's when you should actually be starting to visit colleges to really get a feel of the campus. So for you guys, if you do apply to Emory, hopefully you would have done at least one visit, come through our office for an official campus tour. It really lets you see campus, get a feel of campus, what the students do. You get to go into one of the residence halls. So a lot of times we get Georgia applicants who have not even been on campus once. And so we say, are they really interested in Emory if we're only 15 minutes away from them or 30 minutes away from them, yet they haven't even been on campus, they haven't really seen us. So we really like to see demonstrated interest. So again, take advantage of all the different institutions in and around Atlanta. There are so many, and so many different types. UGA, a large state university, Emory, a medium-sized private institution. So it gives you some